Today we're going to be looking at marimba mallets that are just $17 US. That's 17. But let's just talk about the shafts. Like, whoa! They're actually quite close. And that's what I really love about this idea of affordable mallets, is that we're getting more mallets into the hands of more people, which means we're getting more people onto marimbas, onto keyboard percussion, onto percussion in general, and that is just a good thing. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of The Studio. My name is Adam. Today we're going to look at potentially the cheapest marimba mallets in the world. It is these Jet Percussion marimba mallets, and they're only $17. Thank you so much to my studio VIPs, Robert Utomo, Will Flinner, Brian Carlisle, Sangshun Han, Greg Harris, Doms Dominic Chung, Dean P. Newberger, Marimba Maurice, and Scott Rader. Thank you so much for your continued support. And today's featured studio artist is Jeff Grafton. Thank you so much for your continued support. And if you'd like to become a studio VIP or a studio artist, you can go to patreon.com/AdamTan, or you can click over here. Welcome back to the show once again. I hope you've been well. And yes, today we're going to be looking at marimba mallets that are just $17 US. That's 17. What? So on this show, I've been lucky enough to share with you guys a whole range of marimba mallets, ranging from the very expensive ones like the Wave Wraps, which retailed at around $86 US at their peak, to smaller independent mallet manufacturers, which were releasing mallets around the $20 to $30 US mark. You might remember some of them like Zero Gravity Percussion, which just disappeared off the face of the earth. And also more recently, CustomMalletCreations.com, CMC, who had a custom mallet for under $30 US. And now we can add to that list Jett Percussion, a brand that until a few days ago I knew absolutely nothing about. Now, of course, this video is not sponsored. These mallets just randomly appeared in my PO box one day. I had no idea they were coming, but of course, thank you so much to Jett Percussion for sending them over. And given that I'd never heard of Jett Percussion before, I decided to take a look around to see whether anyone knew what Jett Percussion was. And yes, we have a few Reddit threads dating all the way back to 2017 talking about Jett Percussion, asking whether it's a good brand, whether it's viable. So this brand has been around for a long time. Why has nobody told me about this before? In any case, the people from Jett Percussion, or should I say person from Jett Percussion, his name is Rob Smith. He sent me a letter with these mallets telling me a little bit about the brand. Hi Adam, please check out my marimba mallets from the Jett Percussion line of mallets. The mallets are sold direct to consumer for $17 per pair, and they are machine wrapped, engraved, and have a light clear coat finish. We are able to sell for a low price because we don't have endorsers and we don't pay for advertising. eBay is our advertising. That's really interesting. I've never seen mallet manufacturers sell directly on eBay. The mallets are made by me and my small staff of 2, so there's only 3 people who run this business. That's very admirable. It's very much in line with a lot of the other independent brands as well. And we are able to ship orders within a day or 2. Within a day, that's really fast. I hope you enjoy playing with them. Sincerely, Rob Smith, Jett Percussion. Well, let's do this. And given that these are made in the USA, they're a really good deal for educators, for anyone who has a big group ensemble, for anyone who has a classroom, for anyone who just needs really low price marimba mallets for their first pair. It's a really, really good deal. And this is reflected in the model lineup, which only consists of 4 pairs, which is really good value, not only for the consumer, but also for the manufacturer, because the less models they have, the less money they need to spend making models that people potentially won't buy. The model numbers are very simple. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4. 1's the softest, 4 is the hardest. We have the JPM 1, which is soft in this gray Van Cise-like color. We have JPM 2, which is medium, which is in this dark blue color. JPM 3, which is medium hard, and is in this bluish green color. And then JPM 4, which is hard, which is this reddish brown rust sort of color. It's a really simple lineup. There are no extreme harnesses like very soft and very hard. There are no strange mallets like multi-tone. It's just super straightforward. I also like the colors that they've chosen for the marimba mallets because they look very serious. It doesn't look bright and tacky like a lot of those kids or basics mallets look like. They usually look very cheap, but these look like a premium product at a very low price. Which brings me to, in my opinion, the most exciting part of these mallets, which is the build quality. And I will just start by saying that the build is very good. And you know, normally in these reviews, I start off by talking about the head, but let's just talk about the shafts. Like, whoa! So as I mentioned in that letter, these are coated in a clear coat or like a lacquer, which makes the mallets feel very sealed and very smooth. There is absolutely zero sandiness, zero grittiness, zero risk of splinters, and everything is just finished to such a high quality. Like, wow! Especially for people who have allergic reactions to their skin, or if they have sensitive skin, it's really bad to be holding these uncoated finishes for a long time. So this is really nice. And if you wanted to have more grip, you could just tape it. The only other brand that I've seen that has managed to achieve this kind of smooth finish on their mallets is probably Marimba 1. And Marimba 1 mallets, as we all know, cost about 3 times the amount of these. So I'm very, very impressed. Yes, it is another case of smooth ends make friends times 1000. And then if you go up towards the shaft, you notice the engraving is extremely high quality. Like, look at that logo. It is so straight and so well engraved. All of the mallets that I received have a similar quality of finishing. There's no dodgy discoloration, there's no black lines or anything. It's just really well clear engraving. They've got different fonts, they've got the model. Like, normally cheaper mallet manufacturers, they'll just stamp their mallets or they'll just put a sticker or something that's cheaper to do. And these guys have gone to the extra effort of engraving all their mallets with the model numbers as well, which is something you don't see in this price point. Okay, so enough about the shaft. Let's look at the head. The head is positioned quite far up the shaft. You'll see at the top of the head, there is a hole. So that means there's a little bit of space because it's literally right on the end. And the head is very small. It definitely reminds me of a cross between Van Cise and maybe Nancy Zeltzman's series because it has a little bit of a bulge to it. It's not completely oval, it's more like oblong shaped. I couldn't find any information about the buildup of these mallets, but I'm assuming it's a synthetic yarn and the core feels like a rubber core potentially. It's very, very close cut, which means like the yarn is only like one layer. So it's probably going to wear out a little bit faster than you'd expect. You can already see that I've got some wear pattern appearing on these mallets. I've only used them for about 2 days, but the wear is even. So it means that even if these do wear out, they will still sound relatively okay. They will still be serviceable and you can potentially use them for quite a long time. Whew, I'm really surprised. Next up is the ergonomics. Now these mallets definitely feel more front heavy because the head is positioned more towards the end. But what I really like is that the harnesses don't really affect the weight that much. They feel almost the same. It's really good for people who are looking to achieve more sound when they're just starting out, because let's say you have like a poor single stroke or something and you do something like this, you'll still get a lot of sound out of it. Even if I take the 2 softest mallets, the soft and the medium, and I try to do something complicated, like for example, a triple lateral roll. Yeah, they feel super easy to use, which brings me to the sound test. And yes, if you're enjoying today's video so far, please give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that red subscribe button as well to keep up with my uploads, because I upload new stuff like this every week. What if I was to compare my Pius Cheng mallets, my daily drivers for 2020, which are about 3 times the price of the Jet Percussion mallets? Let's find out. In terms of the core sound, in terms of the lack of contact sound, in terms of the overall character of the mallets, they're actually quite close. I'll leave that for you to think about while I do the actual sound test. Let's go. Okay, so let me know what you thought of the sound test down in the comments below. And yes, I did play some BTS, and yes, I did play some of my new 4 1/3 octave marimba solo, which is coming out for the Marimba Fest participants, compulsory work for this year that will also be released to everybody after Marimba Fest in July. But yeah, the Jet Percussion mallets, I mean, I can't really fault them that much. They sound pretty decent. The build quality is excellent, like top-notch excellent. And the value, the price is just insane. If I had to be picky about it, there are 2 things that I can pick out about this mallet series that might make you reconsider. For example, when I was playing the sound test just now, I just realized the length of the mallets is a little bit longer than I'm used to. It's definitely a bit longer than most of the marimba mallets that I have because the head is so far up the end. You know, getting octaves and Stevens group, you just get that little extra bit of reach. But if you're used to playing with more normal length mallets, it may be a little bit tricky. The second thing I noticed is, of course, the sound profile. It's not the warmest sound in the world. It's definitely a very articulate, straightforward, monotonal sound. You're not going to get much complexity out of it. Third thing, even though there was only supposed to be 2 things, is long-term durability. Now, the heads obviously are starting to wear pretty quickly for something that I've only used for 2 to 3 days, but that is to be expected given that it's synthetic yarn and it's thin. But also the mallet shaft clear coating is starting to wear off a little bit as I started to sweat a little bit on the shafts and gripping them a little bit tighter. I'm starting to feel more of the original finish coming through, which is fine. I mean, if you tape your mallets, this is not going to be a problem. I mean, the people who are going to buy these mallets probably don't care about those things. They probably don't care about the long-term durability. They probably don't care about complexity of sound. They probably don't care about the fact that it's just a little bit longer because they just want some mallets. And that's what I really love about this idea of affordable mallets, is that we're getting more mallets into the hands of more people, which means we're getting more people onto marimbas, onto keyboard percussion, onto percussion in general, and that is just a good thing. So once again, let me know down in the comments below if you have any thoughts about these mallets or if there's anything else you'd like to see on the show. And if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please hit that red subscribe button below to keep up with my uploads. Yes, I'm getting sent a whole bunch of new stuff in the next couple of weeks, so it's really, really exciting. Make sure you hit that notification bell to know whenever I upload a brand new episode. And yeah, once again, thank you so much to Jet Percussion for sending me these mallets. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much to you guys for watching today's video. And I'll see you guys next week for another episode of The Studio. Good night.